Hello, leader. Have you ever thought that you were overlooking someone's unreliability so much that it had crossed the point of no return? And you're now starting to see other team members show signs of their lack of commitment to their roles. As small business owners, it's very difficult to run a business without reliable team members. You've likely been the backstop for many missed scheduled appointments, and it can be very frustrating for your clients as well as your extended team. So I thought I'd pull up and freshen up an on-air coaching call that was published a while back with a chiropractic clinic owner who was dealing with this exact outage in her team. And it may have been because she herself was unintentionally allowing it. By the way, it's been a long while since I published an on-air coaching call, so in case you're wondering, guests who apply for and then join me for an on-air coaching call agree to have their session aired because I don't charge them. And if you're interested in this, you can always DM me on Instagram, where I'm at Stacking Your Team. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. Thanks for tuning in and following your curiosity to learn and honor your personal conviction to be the best leader you can be. On this podcast, you won't hear a bunch of theories presented by academics who haven't been in a workplace in years or ever, and you'll not hear from executives who are flush with capital, people, and pool tables in their cafeteria telling you how to build team culture. Nope. Why? Because you are a small business owner and you've built something great out of nothing. And through it all, you've learned that you need a team, but not just any team. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. I've led winning teams in retail, innovative technical teams at a Fortune 50 corporation for decades, not-for-profit boards, and in online business, and helped many remote teams win at work. And I can tell you that no one escapes team troubles, including me. These days, I'm the CEO of Stacking Your Team, where I teach and develop tools for small business owners so they can attract, retain, and develop their teams so the founder can step out of her day-to-day operation. I'm so happy you're here because we all know that the people side of running your business is often the most difficult, and the team that got you here may not be the team that gets you there. So come on, let's jump in to today's episode. Today's on-air coaching guest is Dr. Natalie Horan of Ignite Chiropractic in Rogers, Arkansas. She and her husband launched the practice in 2019 and have continued to grow their local impact and their team. She wanted some assistance from me to help navigate through the dilemma of a few team members who are becoming more and more unreliable, and it often impacted everything that they were doing way too often. Welcome to the podcast, Natalie.
Thank you. Love to be here. I'm happy about it.
So tell me, what looks like help to you today, Natalie?
Well, team.
Mm-hmm.
Team, we have just recently hired on 3 more team members. So I currently have 7, including my husband. I would be 9 of us together.
Yeah.
So I have 7 team members. 3 of them literally just hired the Monday before Thanksgiving. First, I would say the current senior team, when I say senior team, that means they've been with me for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 full-time senior team. The 3 new ones are full-time. And then I have 2 part-time team members. And with my senior team, I've had a bit of reliability issues with them. It's been very tough because nearly every other day I'm waking up with a text message saying, hey, I can't make it in, or they're sick, or, inclement weather, or. And I've literally been jaded. Both my husband and I have been jaded to not know what is an acceptable number of days to miss. Like, to be frank with you, I don't even know what an acceptable number of days to be sick is, because my husband and I, we don't get sick. Our immune systems are really boosted thanks to the help of chiropractic. But plus, it's our business. So you're not going to miss unless, you just really can't make it in because you're vomiting all over the place or something like that. But I haven't been in that situation. So I would say, what is an acceptable number of sick days? And at what point do you do something about it. And as I have a coming to Jesus, as maybe some would say, and have a conversation with them, how to address it. So we'll start with that.
Okay, well, the first thing that I would love to take a moment, let's just hit the pause button here and take a moment on, is that before we look at what's a reasonable amount of time to be away from your workplace, let's dial that back and talk about what do we think the root cause of this is. Because until we understand what the root cause of why this person is missing so much time away from work, we can't even really gauge what's appropriate. Because if a team member has a significant health challenge that they are trying to keep secret from you in some way, or they haven't gone and taken action to get any type of guidance on how to work through this medical issue, that may be affecting the number of days that they're off. So let's dial this back a bit and let's talk about, have there been any discussions or any commentary on what the root cause is of why this senior member continues to not be available for work?
So both of them for different reasons, yes, because we are very open with communication. We give a lot of opportunity for growth and leadway. And my husband and I are used to just working harder, or me now taking myself out of the doctor position and now going into, I'm working the front desk because so-and-so is missing, or I'm doing this because so-and-so is missing, which really as a doctor, I'm not wanting to answer my phones. I don't want to be the one up at the front. Right. So with one of them, absolutely, her life has been transformed since she's been working with us, because she actually had trigeminal neuralgia, which if you don't know, and for the listeners out there, that is a condition where, I mean, it was the number 2 suicide condition. It's so painful for people. And she was literally turned down by the Mayo Clinic because they couldn't do anything for her. So we brought her on knowing that she had a serious health condition. And honestly, she wasn't even the first pick that we had right away, because we were afraid for her health. We knew that when we opened our practice that it would be very tough for her. So after 3 rounds of going through another set of hiring, we called her back. So either way, so she was labeled with trigeminal neuralgia and was on very heavy medication, so heavy that it's a process to wean it off with withdrawal and everything like that. And with the help of her, of course, getting chiropractic care and learning about the principles and knowing and believing in the body healing and everything, she is now on no medication. Granted, which is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And she's changing her diet. So like, we're really rubbing off on them, which is what every person would want, especially when you're in a health community where we're spreading help to other people. You kind of want to hope that it bleeds into their lives as well. So for her, this is an absolute journey for her, but there's a lot of emotional issues and a lot of childhood traumas that I am turning into a coach when I'm paying her to be there and be a team member. So I think she is just being very open to obviously learning from us and very open to being coached by us. I mean, that's very convenient. She can come to work and be coached by us, and we let it happen too long. I know it. That's the problem. I muddied up the boundaries is what I did with that one. And so it's tough now. How do I go back and clean that up to give her a chance? But now she's so used to, I can basically complain to mom and dad and they're going to come up with solutions. My tummy hurts. What can you do to help me feel better? Like, or what do you think I should do? And now I'm like, well, shoot, take an Imodium or whatever you would have done before. I need you here.
Yeah. You know, this is unfortunate, Natalie, but I see this happen a lot in heart-centered business owners, right? Everything you do is compelled through your emotions and your sense of wanting to help others. And that all stems from your heart. And so it's wonderful that you're in the profession that you are, right? No one wants to go to a health professional that feels like a wet noodle, like cold toast. We want to go to someone that is emitting that heat, emitting that sense of care for humanity, right? That's why you're doing so well. That's why your practice is on fire, because people are sensing that when they're coming to you. However, when we have team, it's very difficult because you want to wear multiple hats. And I'm here to tell you, your team only wants you wearing one hat all day, every day. And that's the hat that says leader.
Yeah.
So even though they may be coming to you asking for personal help, it's up to us to coach them and remind them that you're their leader and that it's actually inappropriate for you to want to or have them want you to be their doctor or to be their health professional. And so even though this particular relationship with this particular team member may have evolved into something that is not healthy for either of you, it's always a good time. It's always a good time to hit the reset button on relationships. So bringing that team member in and saying straight up front, look, here's the situation. I think I've overstepped my boundaries with you. And unfortunately, it's not helped either of us. So I need you to let's pull together a plan together and get you the right healthcare that you need so that you can be a healthy, vibrant, contributing team member consistently versus having to continue to struggle with your health conditions. Because I think what may be happening here is although you've provided her with a ton of health care insight and her body is back on track and she's starting to make some good choices, oftentimes there's like residual effects that are left over. It's part of her conditioning that she's had probably growing up. So she slips every now and then, and it's hard for her to maintain the momentum. But it's not your job to instill in her a sense of integrity and a sense of commitment to the practice. So it really comes down to asking her to reconfirm that she's committed to her role with you at the practice, that she's committed to working the set amount of hours that you agreed upon, that she's committed to delivering the work plan that you've set out for her, and that she's committed to continuing to improve her health so that she can do all of those things. And then asking her, what do you think your next best step is to ensure that you've got your health on track so that you can come and be here with us as a viable part of the team? Yeah. And then pausing and letting her tell you what that would be. And the more we apologize, that we take on the ownership of creating the relationship that we have with them right now, the more they'll be at ease and to stop and realizing the role they played too.
Yeah. It's interesting because she, as of more recent, I mean, we have absolutely made a connection with someone that can help her with her emotional traumas. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I'm a coach at heart, obviously. Yeah. I'm like, I don't have the time, nor do I want to coach you when you're on my dime. I have to draw a line somewhere. But I have a relationship, a great friend who is a life and a wellness coach. Mm-hmm. And she's helping her work on chakras and everything else. And so the style of chiropractic we do is very much energetic. I mean, everything is really energy, right? But so she's been working with her, but she wants to come back and merely check in with me because I don't know if it's for validation. That's what it is. She has a problem with validation. She's been validated for so long for her sickness. And I know this because I see it. I'm like, she's been validated for so long for her sickness and what's going on that she needs to know that she has love in other places. And I mean, I've allowed the boundary to continue to get mucky at the end of the day because she asks me these questions and I have answers. But then it's like, let me give you another example. For us, we have a 3.5 day work week.
Wow.
Right? Not very long. It's Monday, all day Monday, half day on Tuesday. They do training. We do trainings Tuesday morning, Wednesday and Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if we have events. But there's not that much time that if they miss one day, they've missed more than half of our work week, basically. So just 2 weeks ago, she missed the entire week because she was sick. And I'm like, okay. I used to give her advice on what she should do so she can get well and get health, and get well faster so I can get her back in the office. But now I realize I just say, okay, because she has, just like you said, she needs to make that decision on how bad are you? Can you really make it in? Or, are you going to do something to suck it up, buttercup? And, let's this boat move forward.
It's unfortunate when we start out wanting to
help our team members. But in reality, we really are their leader. That's our sole purpose. That's the basis of our relationship. And although we can care for our team members, we can't take care of our team members, right? We can't pay their bills for them. We can't float them cash. We can't adopt their children for weekends because they've got a lot going home. Like we just can't pour into them the way a family member or friend can, because that's not the role we're playing in their lives. We're there to lead and to role model and to provide them an incredible employment opportunity. And that's what she really needs to be reminded of. The fact that she works for a energy-centered chiropractic office, which is totally in line to her beliefs and the path of medical care that she wants to follow. What a blessing that is. The fact that she's working in a chiropractic center that has a 3.5-day work week. I mean, come on. And I'm sure you're also providing her a really great rate or wage. In that sense, she needs to count her blessings and understand that she has an incredible opportunity here, and let's not mess this up. And so the other thing that, unfortunately, that she's been also conditioned to learn is that she knows that if she calls you and tells you that she can't come in, the answer she's going to get is, okay, I'm here to support you. So, and therefore, there's no repercussions for anyone. So there's no real drive to even have her decide she's going to change her habits and then change her mindset and then change who she wants to be in the world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So having that conversation with her where you're asking her to recommit to her role here at the practice and outline to her what that commitment would look like and be very, very clear about it. And even when she wants to chime in with, well, I'm having a hard time with this, the answer to that is, I acknowledge that. And I had suggested to you a few weeks ago that you look into getting this kind of assistant. And then also being able to say to them, I will no longer be coaching you. I clearly understand now that my role is to be your leader. I can't be your leader, your employer, and your coach and your medical professional. It's just too many things for me to be for you as one person. Tell me about your plan as to how you can get that level of support elsewhere. And let's talk about that.
Yeah. I've had these conversations in different ways, but we've recently just had a vision casting because we do every 6 months ahead, we do vision cast. And we made it very clear, both my husband and I, that we need the reliability. I mean, that's been a recurring word that's they know who it applies to. We need the reliability. And the fact that we hired on 3 more people, I mean, that kind of gives you a sign that we're really looking for that. And casting that vision, and then also saying how because they would come to me with questions all the time. So even whenever I'm not on the floor adjusting, where it's like the day that my husband's doing the adjusting, I've literally had to take myself out of the billing office because they're so quick to come to me with questions that they wouldn't stop. And I've gotten the habit of stopping and looking at them and saying, have you thought about it? What do you think the answer is? Because I was bombarded enough. I come in with already tons of things that I already have planned on doing. And then I go into reaction mode because they're coming to me with these various questions where they just didn't stop to think for themselves. So that's getting better. And we totally have set the tone with the new ones in there, which is going to be great in the future of the culture in there, because the other ones were used to coming to me until we put a halt on that. But sharing that, how that bombards me, and that subsequently bombards my husband as well, because he feels bad that I'm getting hit with all these reactionary things. I've got to take action on this and action on this, or put a fire out here, put a fire out there. That we've given them like more of a push to say, hey, go ahead and what have you learned, and take this and implement this before you just come after and have all these questions. Granted, it makes it sound like we're hardcore, like don't ask questions. No, it's absolutely not the case. Like it's very much a learning environment. So I guess further with that would be, at what point would you say, okay, this just isn't working? Because you mentioned about disciplinary action.
Yeah.
clearly I'm like, I like needed him before I was bringing on more people. I like, okay, I could cut you back hours, but you're already basically at part-time hours now, or I can just cut you off. But I was, I didn't want to get into desperation mode. I honestly was holding on longer because I was still able to get the practice moving forward like that.
So let's unpack this a little bit, because my hair's on fire right now, Natalie, because of all the things that you're trying to juggle here. So first of all, let me remind you for all of our listeners here, as leaders in a service-based business, whether you're a service-based business or you're a digital CEO, either way, if you have people on the payroll, there are your team members. And it doesn't matter whether they're part-time, seasonal, contractor, full-time employees, doesn't matter. If you're paying people to work alongside you, they're team members. And because you're paying them, you are well within your right to have some expectations that go hand in hand with the paycheck. Because what we don't want to do is set up this dynamic in our team that we have favorites. Yeah. And so every time someone is allowed to get away with not meeting an expectation over and over again, and that becomes the new norm for that particular person, it's perceived by your extended team as favoritism. And then they will stop and they'll wonder, well, why is that person allowed to do that, but I can't? Why does she confront her, but she confronts me about this, but she doesn't confront her? So we really want to make sure that when we're building out these cultures, especially in a new team, you want to make sure you're starting those ground rules on a really strong foundation of treating everyone with dignity and respect, right? Everyone gets treated with dignity and respect, and everyone gets treated consistently until there's a time where you believe you need to use principles with coaching someone and leading someone versus straight up expectations. And what I mean by that is if someone had a sudden tragic moment in their lives, then definitely you would potentially treat them a little bit different or give them a little bit more leeway for a few weeks until they got the support they needed to come back and be able to return to work in the normal way that you would expect them to. But generally speaking, people need to be treated the same across the board, regardless of how long they've been there or what particular role that they have to play. And you mentioned a lot about, people needing validation. Like oftentimes team members will come and ask questions because they really are looking for a validation. They're looking for you to see them and hear them for who they are and their thoughts and their recommendations. So when someone comes and asks a question, for me, I used to have people all the time, they would come and ask me a question, and it was really an exercise in wanting to have a conversation with me about what they were seeing, what they considered to be a problem area that they wanted to solve. And so I would turn that question around to say, what do you think our next best step would be? Or I'd say things like, wow, this is really your expertise area. Tell me, how do you recommend we move forward on this? And that is their moment where they're wanting to share their brilliance with me and have me recognize it. So then over time, when I caught them doing something great, or I saw them doing something really well, I would just say to them, wow, I loved how you handled yourself in that team meeting this morning. Loved how, and with this person here that we're talking about now, you could say things like, I so appreciate that you've been here every single day for the last 2 weeks. I feel your presence. I can see how much of an impact you're having with the extended team. Let's make sure we keep this momentum going.
Yeah. Positive reinforcement.
Yeah. It's that whole positive reinforcement. Catch them doing something great. And unfortunately, there will be people on our team who need more validation than others.
It's this one for sure.
Mm-hmm. And so what we can do, though, is we can teach people how to treat us as well by putting up some boundaries with them. So you mentioned earlier about people are often coming to you to put all the fires out and that you feel like you're reacting to everything. Tell me about why you feel that you personally need to react to everything that your team is asking for or that your team needs.
If it has anything to do with a practice member, I know I can fix it. That's why. And I have the trust in knowing that I can fix it, or I don't want that to impact or, further proliferate into anybody else as a practice member or, mess with them having an exceptional experience in the office. So if it feels like it's going to then ripple into affecting a practice member or making a decision about something, I will jump in, and I'm very much an action taker. And so the team knows that too, because I will drop whatever I'm doing and I will hop on whatever it is that they're concerned about, and I will work to fix it or come up with a solution. And then it really takes the work out of it for them.
It's a total bonus. It's a total bonus for every single person on your team, because they know, hey, I don't even have to ask her for help or insight or what her thoughts are. She is going to give it to me. Or in the same sense, if they decide, I'm really stuck on this particular case, I really don't know what next to do, let me go and ask Natalie. She will give me the right kind of guidance. There's a very different thought process between, let me come to work and not have to think for myself, versus let me come to work, and when I feel like I need assistance, I have an incredible leader that's right here that I can go and ask for help. So it really comes down to, what kind of a work culture do you want? Do you want to be someone that is disrupted all the time because people are coming and pulling you off of what it is that that you're supposed to be doing today to go and help them? Do you want them to be self-sufficient?
Absolutely want them self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be drawn off, because like I said earlier, I don't have kids yet, but I'm going to want to have children soon. And I want to be able to step out when I need to step out. And I don't want to have to be there, because I know they're going to take care of it, which, to be quite honest, because of the way that I'm not answering, and not that I'm ignoring them, but I'm telling them, I think you can figure this out,
mm-hmm.
or have you asked another team member about it?
Mm-hmm.
Because amongst all of you, somebody has an answer. Somebody knows that. And so that has gotten a lot better, especially because I've now created another office area where my husband and I can be when we're in between adjustments and stuff. Mm-hmm. So we're not as accessible, because they have to come all the way down the hallway to come to us now, which has really transformed that. So that's very helpful.
That was a great idea, Natalie, because team is how we scale. But the only way that a CEO can scale at the pace that they would require that, and with the comfortability with that, is to have that high performing team stacked up around them. And with high performance comes self-sufficiency. So you're planning to build a family. You're not going to be able to go on a mat leave in a way that you really desire to, if your team is not self-sufficient, because your phone's going to be blowing up with people texting you and, wanting your insight on this and wanting your insight on that. So here you have this runway right now leading up to the time that you're blessed and you're going to be able to go be a new mom. Let's take this time now to really start pouring into your team and get them to that self-sufficiency rate that's super high, so that you can go and focus on becoming a new mom. And one of the ways that you're already doing that is to create your own separate area for you and your husband that is away from the rest of away from the action, so that it is a little bit more uncomfortable for them to have to come, or a little more difficult for them to come and get you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm in a place where I know too much about their personal and home life. Mm-hmm. And because of that, I know that's why I've given so much leadway in trying to help them and trying to coach them, up until now. I'm at the point where exactly what you're sharing, I'm setting those boundaries, preparing for my future family, and preparing for the growth of the practice with new culture in there, that I don't want to continue what I've been sharing here. I want to be able to start from a fresh ground, know that I have people that have things a little more together, and I'm willing to pay people for their abilities and their skill sets that are reflected in the office to help us carry out our mission forward.
Well, the fact that you've taken time to create a vision and a mission tells every single person on your team that you're not fooling around. Like, this isn't a hobby. This is your life purpose. You're living out your life purpose, and you're inviting them to come along and be a part of that journey. And by the way, if you commit to come along and be a part of this journey, this is going to be a wonderful career opportunity for you, that you're going to be able to come in, and every single day you're going to be able to play in your own wheelhouse, really be able to share your brilliance with all of the patients that come to us looking for care and guidance. And we're here to help you evolve as individuals too. But the difference is I'm here to be your leader. I'm not here to be your personal coach, nor your personal medical professional.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing with that one.
It's that old saying. I mean, you guys have heard me tell you often and often that the team that got you here may not be the team that's going to get you there. And because of the pace of how your practice is growing, Natalie, you need people around you that are only high performers, that are totally committed to the practice, because not only is that going to help you grow the practice, it's going to help you be able to go and concentrate on becoming a new mom.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to do both of those things with a team that is mediocre. You need high performing people around you. And you are not crazy. You are not crazy. You are not asking for the world. The things that you require and that you're expecting of your team members are basic expectations. They're totally reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. While addressing things head on individually with the first one and then also individually with the other one, with their own situations, but dropping them down because I don't think they'll be the team that is going to get us to the next spot. But I need them, quote, right now as I train up these newbies to become very proficient, because they also like to show off the fact that they do know how to run things in the office when they are there, of course. And so I'm using them to help train as well. So I want to very much take care of it in a way to give them an opportunity to prove otherwise. But honestly, it's been so ingrained long enough that honestly, I don't think it's going to change, but at least I know I'm going to give them a direct opportunity and then drop them down and go as I can put the other new ones into a more full-time position. Because I did have in the very beginning, and we've already kind of talked about that, about knowing that we're worthy of having high performing team members. And I am totally, yes, we are very worthy of that. I did for a little bit have an issue with, how much money is too much money? Can we afford that person?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I came to the realization, absolutely. Can we afford them at a particular one? We don't have to bring them on at the rate that they want to be at. They can work their way into that rate once they show their skill sets and it's usable in our office. So I'm just sharing that to the audience here, that I did shortly go through that time period, but whenever you're growing so fast, you get over that really quickly.
Sure.
And you realize we deserve to not have to work so hard to grow this business, because we have been grinding it and we want to continue loving what we do and not wear ourselves out. We'll continue moving forward with that, seeing how that goes. Very helpful. That's good.
If you'd like some help developing people to step up and become leaders for your small business, why not consider enrolling them into the Leadership Lab Team Leader Program? They'll get very relevant on-demand training and a resource library designed to help them excel as a highly valued team member. They'll also have access to our private community for real-time support, a quarterly live training call, and a monthly drop-in Q&A call with me, all at a very affordable price. You know that the people side of running your business is often the hardest, so why not get some quality help and move into this year better prepared for more growth, instead of dealing with team turnover, disappointments, and overpaying for mediocre performance. I'm here to help you. You can get all the details and book a call with me over at the website, stackingyourteam.com. Leadership can be exciting, challenging, and lonely at times. So don't go it alone. Let me help you create the team and the leadership structure that you've been craving. So until next time, remember, if you have a dream, you need a team. So let's get stacking yours today.